Welcome to Shovelware Diggers. Our dig team's currently excavating the Softkey Shareware 2000 Hit Games 2CD collection. You can find a link in the video description containing the entire directory structure of this archive. It's another week of team digs, and this is what our diggers have for us today. For more information on how to join the dig team, simply follow the Patreon link in the video description. Now without further ado, let's get started. First up, CatDog Joe and James Dunn have dug up DOSGAMES /PB/King. I'm gonna guess another one of those pinball construction set sort of things, and yep, that is absolutely what this is. Except there's also a doc file for this one. Okay. Actually, small enough to probably get away with just typing it. Type pinball.doc. Oh, that's kind of interesting. You don't actually see this very often with people who do PCS pinball tables. Is they actually included like a control set and everything, so that when you're playing it, you're not totally guessing like how you're supposed to do everything. Not to mention it's showing like whatever all the point values are for everything, so that's kind of neat. But anyways, it was called King Diamond, and it's very interesting that they did this without any magenta. Huh. Well, let's see how this one plays. Well, that's interesting. The ball actually starts on the left side. Huh. I wasn't even aware you could move it over there. Well, let's see if we can get this to launch up. Okay. Also, it's another one of those pinball tables from PCS that actually has the multi-balls targets in it. You don't actually see the multi-ball thing used very often. Nor do you see gobble holes used very often. That's kind of interesting. So gobble holes in pinball terms are holes on the table where if the ball touches it, you lose the ball. Although that's interesting that there's actually like a kickback in the center. So like, can you not lose the ball down the center of the table? That's kind of weird. Yeah, this is just a weird pinball table overall, like even just in terms of any kind of logic. Up and there it goes. I'm also trying to figure out why the this pinball table has I don't know why this pinball table has a pentagram in the middle of it. I'm sure there's a totally legitimate reason, but I have no idea what that reason is. There we go. So that should end up going down there, and yep, multi-ball begins. One of those things you don't often see when playing a PCS table. Yeah, because of the position of that thing in the middle, it's almost impossible to lose the ball down the middle. And it's also weird that the ball keeps bouncing off of the back edge of the right flipper. I don't know why it's doing that. So yeah, we got just another basic pinball table from the pinball construction set, but this one's definitely different from the typical one. Just the fact that magenta is not used in the color scheme whatsoever, short of everything that the game forces you to use in terms of magenta coloring. And then the pentagram design and everything. Yeah, this is just a weird table, but I mean, at least it plays properly. Next up, Yarmo Ranta and Parafine have dug up DOSGAMES /Arcade3 /Toroid11. Pretty sure I know what this is. We do have a file ID.diz. We got a couple doc files and a couple executable files. Interesting. If this is what I think it is, then I'm going to guess that TLE stands for Toroid Level Editor. That's presuming this is what I think it is. But anyways, let's just quickly type out the file ID.diz. New ball paddle game, but different and more fun. Yep, this is exactly what I think it is. Or thought it was. Toroid's full features include bonus shoot-'em-up levels, up to 64 balls, 2 lasers, high score table, full width display, online help, and intuitive level editor, and much more, all in smooth 60 FPS VGA animation. So anyways, let's actually go load up the doc file here. So Toroid was made by Jason Trong? Not sure how to pronounce that. And I also find it interesting that he's explicitly spelled out that he's in the USA. This is probably someone from the earlier days of internet usage who's well aware of the widespread nature of this stuff. So yeah, basically what's going on here with the Shareware version is that it only has 2 levels built in, as opposed to the full version. And there's also a level editor, which is separately available for $5, which the evaluation version included doesn't have the save feature. So that's a pretty common way to handicap a level editor if you're intending to sell it. Although, where's the actual price for the game itself? Okay, it's a separate order form for actually ordering the game. And apparently the game in its full version is $10 and an extra $5 if you want the level editor as well. So $15 for the full game with the level editor. So that's actually not too bad for a DOS game of this nature, presuming this is the game I think it is, which I'm pretty sure it is. Yep, this is exactly what I thought it was. So here we are at our first level here. I have mouse control over the paddle. I should point out that there is actually a slight bit of acceleration, like a slight bit of momentum to the paddle movement, even with the mouse. So it can be a little tricky. But if I'm remembering this correctly, yeah, so if you break those balls out of those boxes, they fall. And if they hit the paddle, it can start shaking the paddle. And if 2 of them hit the paddle, it destroys the paddle. So yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with that side over there while that ball's up there. And then that one, the gold one, actually made my paddle smaller from the looks of it. And I think my ball just got stronger there. So yeah, the gold balls are kind of like power-ups, but you don't really have a lot of control over what the power-ups do. Nor can you really see ahead of time like what the power-up is. So it's a little weird like that. Oh, and apparently geez, stuff can just fall at random too. Oh, and suddenly the ball sped up. And now I think I have a catch paddle? Yes, I do. Oh, I think I just beat the level. And that was supposed to be a bonus stage, and I totally failed at it. Level 2, which is starting off in a very tricky way. Oh, I've had lasers. And then, yeah. The lasers actually are auto-fire. And that was a paddle extension. I think the paddle extensions can actually multiply, so if you get a second one, it'll actually increase it even further. But again, you can't actually see what the power-ups are ahead of time. Ooh, and that's like a Mega Ball or something. And I got a slowdown there from the looks of it. So yeah, this is a very different Breakout clone. Like, it obviously still plays like a typical Breakout clone would, but at the same time, it's got square bricks as opposed to rectangular bricks. It has a sort of gradient aesthetic going on. You can't really tell what the power-ups are. Instead of enemies, you're dealing with falling objects. And it's just... whoa. Well, at least I've got shots again. But yeah, it's just a very different Breakout clone, while still being familiar and simple to understand. Okay, let's see if I can not totally fail at the bonus game this time. Basic rule of thumb, just don't let anything drop on you. And I got 22 out of 25 things there. So yeah, that was Toroid, which, well, just the Shareware version, so that's why there's only 2 levels. But as you can see, it's a pretty fair Breakout clone. And for $15 to get it with the editor, or $10 without the editor, That's a fair price for it as well. And our last dig for today comes from Alex and Felicia Gladson. WINGAMES /casino/SVPOKE. Since this is in the casino folder, I'm going to guess this is some kind of poker. Probably video poker of some kind, although I have no idea what the S stands for. FileID.diz says Super Video Poker for Windows. Shareware game based on the popular video poker machines found in many casinos. Features of V-Poker. Jacks are better and Joker's wild variations of play, animation sound effects. Online context-sensitive help. Best play advice for any hand setup. Save, restore, use it final playoffs. It seems to have a lot of features. What does the README say? Not much that the file ID didn't say. Well, there's a standard help file. And according to this, the full version of the program is $15 US. And was apparently made by somebody. Maybe it's in here? Where is the author info? Up here we go. It's an Elton Inada from California. And once again, we've got an email address. So as you guys have probably noticed by now, a lot of this software, because it was being gleaned from BBSs and online services, has come from people who were actually developing stuff in their spare time at universities and such because, well, they had access to the technology. They had access to the internet. Well, there you go. Because that's the primary person who had internet access back then was students. So what we got here? Oh, this one's actually keeping track of the trial period. Interesting. So that means it would probably block it out after 30 days. Although I imagine it's probably a very basic date check, because you don't have more advanced date checks until way later on once you start dealing with Windows 95 and registry tables and stuff like that. And even then there's ways to defeat them. So anyways, does it maximize? It does not. Oh well. Okay, that's interesting. I just noticed the cards have animations to them. That's kind of interesting. Can I actually change what the card looks like? I can. So do they all have animations to them? Well, I've been staring at this one for about a minute and it doesn't seem to have an animation associated with it. So not all of them are animated. So yeah, there seems to be a lot of options here. There's analysis things here. We can get, probability values. Okay. And then statistics. Oh, geez. History graph? I guess we need to play the game a bit first before we get any of this. So, new game. Starting a new game, we'll reset credits and history. Go for it. So, I guess number of coins is set to 5, although we can set it to anywhere between 1 and 5. Oh, there we go. It actually has sound effects, too. Okay, so... Well, we already have 2 pairs, so might as well hold all of that, see if we can get ourselves a full house. And we didn't. We got 2 pair. So, go again. Well, we already have a pair right here, but it needs to be jacks or better, which is kind of common for video poker. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to the 5, see if maybe we can turn that into a 3 of a kind. And we actually made another 2 pair. Because we got kings again. Ooh, we're starting with 2 aces. That's good. So it's actually already highlighting what's already there. So, and that would be a 3 of a kind. Okay. Wait a minute. The jack is animated. Look at that. That's weird how some of the cards have animations to them, but some don't. Huh. Okay, so in this instance here, even though we already have a pair of 4s, we have 4 clubs. So the chance of this coming up as a club is pretty good. And we got it, so we got a flush right there. So I'm going to play this for just a couple minutes here, see if we can get those statistics built up so that we can actually look at those statistics and see if it can actually, like, give any interesting info. But, yeah, let's see how... Oh, I was not expecting that flush to pan out. Yeah, we'll see how this turns out in a moment here. Okay, I meant to play 50 hands, but I accidentally played 51. Video poker goes pretty fast. Although, I didn't actually drop down too much in the way of credits. I did obviously lose money, because, well, video poker tends to work that way. But anyways, let's take a look at our history graph here. Okay, so this is actually showing us sort of a graph of the kind of where our money is, in a sense. Although I do like that the graph maximizes. So that's kind of nice. And yeah, this is showing 0 right here, so it's definitely showing us all the hands from the beginning. So, like, I mean, all things considered, we're not too far off of where we started. We started at 200, made some quick gains, then had a couple flushes, which helped. I did get another flush, and not a lot of things after that. So that was that one. Let's go history table. Oh, it's actually tracking every single thing that happened. Interesting. Actually, I wonder, can I keep these probabilities up while I've got a hand going? Let's actually check this here. So if I actually go... Oh yeah, the probabilities do update in real time. Not to mention, at the moment, we already have 2 pair. We already have a pair here. So making a second pair isn't really all that difficult. Not to mention, it also increases the 3 of a kind chance because we already have 2 things here. And it's actually showing us right here what the odds are of these things as we're selecting them as well. So, like, if we choose all of those, then if we deal the cards in this state, our chance for a flush is 43 out of 1,081. So, what is that? That's like something like a 25% chance? Or not 25%, 4% chance. Roughly. Or if we were just go like this, then our chance of 2 pairs would be 2592 and 16215. And I should point out it actually is showing the percentage values over here, so that's actually a 15% chance. So going for the 2 pair is much more likely to occur than going for the flush, which is only a just under a 4% chance. Or we could also technically go for the straight, but that is also only about a 4% chance. So in this case, let's see if we can get 2 pairs going. And we didn't. So now here's an interesting situation. We've got a 6, 7, and 9, all of clubs. So if we look over here, this is actually showing us that not only is this giving us a 4% chance at a flush, and a 2.5% chance of a straight, it's also giving us a 0.18% chance of a straight flush. Because, yeah, we would need 2 very specific cards to come up for that to occur. Which, as we can see, they did not. And yeah, there's also a statistics thing we can keep on screen here, and then could also probably keep the history table up as well, I'm guessing. This is actually really advanced for a video poker program. Especially one where the author's only charging $15 for it. I think it was $15, right? Yeah, $15. So, yeah, if you really like video poker and want to, like, learn all kinds of odds and probabilities and stuff, this program's definitely a good way to go about it.